Committed, together with the national government, in implementing the necessary policy measures and reforms needed to help the Philippine economy recover from the COVID-19 crisis and to build its resilience against future crises.
Let me, on behalf of the infrastructure cluster, reassure you that while this pandemic may have disrupted the implementation of projects, with the right mindset, scientific advice, and our whole of government approach, we are still committed to complete many of our projects within the next 2.5 years.
Our utmost priorities continue to be the overall improvement of the quality of life of the Filipino people. By exploring innovations to beat the pandemic and by strengthening the tried and tested pro-people programs.
A whole-of-nation approach is our key to containing this pandemic. We strongly believe that the most successful solutions to any problem, COVID-19 or otherwise, are those which have the strong support of citizens.
Uulitin ko po, nandito lang ang gobyerno na handang makinig at damayan kayo at higit sa lahat, ipadama ang patuloy na pagkalinga para sa inyo. Tayo po ay magtulungan na labanan ang COVID-19.
Tungo sa pangarap ng bawat Pilipino na makamit ng maginhawang buhay, nagsisikap ang pamahalaan para ito ay makamtan. Ngunit, hindi ito matatamo kung walang seguridad at kapayapaan sa buong kapuluan.
Patuloy tayong magiging matatag. Lalabanan natin ang dagok at hamon na kinakaharap natin. Hindi lamang sa hamon ng pandemya, ganon din sa hamon ng panahon. Palakasin natin pagkalinga tungo sa katatagan.
Over 4 years into his term, President Rodrigo Roa Duterte remains committed to his promise of providing a comfortable life for all Filipinos. Since assuming office in 2016, the President has paved the way for progress and unwavering public service. Amidst the challenges brought about by the COVID-19 pandemic, the Duterte administration has stayed resilient, fighting the virus head-on. With the Bayanihan to Heal as One Act enacted into law, the government was able to attend to the needs and provide services for all Filipinos, here and abroad. At the earlier stage of the implementation of the community quarantine, the government formulated the Social Amelioration Program to provide aid for the poorest of the poor among Filipino households. To ensure that frontliners were able to do their duties seamlessly during the COVID-19 situation, the government developed and launched the Rapid Pass system, allowing frontline workers unimpeded travel while also minimizing physical contact with authorities. Overseas Filipino workers are also well taken care of, with 2.5 billion allotted for Dole Akap, an emergency cash aid program for OFWs who were displaced by the COVID-19 pandemic. Repatriation efforts have also been put in place for Filipinos who wish to come home. President Rodrigo Roa Duterte also wants to provide for the basic needs of each and every Filipino, especially the poor. On April 17, 2019, the President signed into law the Pantawid Pamilyang Pilipino Program Act, which institutionalizes the said conditional cash transfer program to uplift the standard of living and quality of life of the poor. The Magna Carta of the Poor was also signed into law. With health and well-being among the top priorities of the Duterte administration, the President has signed the Universal Health Care Law, which automatically enrolled all Filipinos under the government's health insurance program. Meanwhile, Executive Order 104, which regulates the prices of drugs and medicines, making them more affordable and accessible to people, has taken effect last June 2020. Last December 2019, President Rodrigo Duterte signed the Malasakit Center Law, which establishes Malasakit centers in all Department of Health hospitals nationwide. The government, in its ceaseless response to the COVID-19 pandemic, continues to expand its COVID-19 testing capacity. The Freedom of Information Program, which is one of the Duterte administration's first initiatives to promote transparency, has held caravans for both local and global audiences. Knowing the importance of keeping people informed in times of crisis, the government has been holding virtual pressers amid the COVID-19 pandemic to keep the public up to date on continued government actions to address the situation. Giving equal importance to providing all Filipinos with access to education, President Rodrigo Duterte signed the Universal Access to Quality Tertiary Education Act, or the Free Tuition Law, in 2018. The government continues to pursue provision of education for all amid the pandemic, maximizing its resources as it looks to utilize distance learning. Even during these challenging times, the Philippine economy continues to remain stable due to the country's economic team's sound fiscal management. Various credit rating agencies from across the globe have accorded our country with commendable ratings, a testament to the resilience of our economy. To continue connecting the people within the Philippines' many islands and to sustain economic growth, the Duterte administration maintains its focus on infrastructure development. Under the Build, Build, Build program, several infrastructure projects have been completed, with more underway. As part of its COVID-19 response, the government, in cooperation with the private sector, has constructed quarantine facilities and testing centers. With the safety and security of the country being the utmost priorities of the Duterte administration, the campaign against illegal drugs continues. The anti-terrorism bill was also recently signed into law, allowing the government to effectively curb terrorism and protect its citizens from terrorists and violent extremists. The Philippines continues to adhere to its friends to all, enemies to none foreign policy. Amid the COVID-19 pandemic, President Rodrigo Duterte participated in several ASEAN virtual conventions and further strengthened relations with other countries. The chief executive is also working closely with ASEAN member states in addition to other countries to address the COVID-19 pandemic and its effects. President Rodrigo Duterte has shown that even through these trying times, the Duterte administration remains devoted to fulfilling its promise of providing the needs of all Filipinos. Expect intensified efforts from the government to continue to work and deliver true and lasting change that will echo for generations to come. This is the mark of change. Ito ang tatak ng pagbabago.
The Presidential Communications Operations Office.